Hi, today we're going to be working on 5.2 factoring trinomials. So I want to kind of look and see how many problems I'll be doing today. However, we're going to just go ahead and start. So first of all, I want to try to make sure I make this under 5 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm sorry. First of all, we have prime polynomials. Some trinomials are not possible. Like you cannot factor them whatsoever. They just don't have numbers that work out. So you would call them prime polynomials. I kind of jumped a little bit. I'm so sorry. 5.2 is about factoring trinomials. The first thing you want to do is you want to ask yourself, do they share something? Do they have a greatest common factor? And if they do, you want to take that out before you even try to factor it. However, sometimes when you are factoring trinomials, there's different methods. You can use the box method, you can just use the AC method. But whenever the coefficient is 1, which means the trinomial, the one with the x squared, the one with the second degree term, if it's 1, you can do something that's pretty cool. And here's what I'm talking about. First of all, this is a 1, this is a 9, and this is an 18. So all of the terms, they don't share anything. So what's going to happen is we are going to factor this. And I'm going to show you guys how to do the shortcut. We don't want to do the AC method every single time. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do the AC method a little bit later. But whenever you have a coefficient of 1 on the quadratic term, you don't have to do the AC method. You can do the shortcut method. And here's how you do it. The only possible way to get x squared is x times x. Now, I'm going to look at the 18 over here. I need to find two numbers when multiplied together give me 18, but when added together give me 9. So I know that 6 times 3 is 18. I also know that 6 plus 3 is 9, and this is your middle term. All right? So all you have to do is you're going to put a positive 6 here and then a positive 3 here. By the way, it doesn't matter. You can go 6 plus 3 times 6 plus, I'm sorry, not 6 plus, 3 plus, or x plus 3 times x plus 6. You can switch them around. That's not a big deal. So these mean the same exact thing. If I was to actually multiply them out together, I would get x squared plus 9x plus 18. All right, let's do another one. Got a little tongue-tied there. I'm so sorry. All right, next one. The next one is, once again, I have a 1 here. I have my B value is negative 10, and my C value is 24. Remember, when you have a quadratic expression, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. The a is the number in front of the quadratic term, the b is the number in front of the linear term, and the c is your constant. So in this case, they don't share anything, so I know it's going to look like this. The only way to get y squared is y times y. Now I'm going to look at the 24. I need to find two numbers when multiplied together give you 24, but when added together give you negative 10. So what about I'm trying to think of some. I have a negative 6 times a negative 4. When I multiply those together, I do get 24. Now, when I take negative 6 and I add it to negative 4, I get negative 10, and that's your middle term. So I found the two factors. So I have a negative 6 and I have a negative 4. If you're bored, you can actually multiply these together and you would get the same trinomial. All right, let's try another one. Same thing here. They don't share anything, so I know it's going to look like this. The only way to get z squared is to put z times z. Now, I have a negative 30. That's my targeted number. I need two numbers when multiplied together give you negative 30, but when added together give you a positive 1, because that's a positive 1 right there. Well, 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. 6 plus negative 5 is 1. So we found them. It is a positive 6 and a negative 5. Once again, it does not matter if you switch them up. All right, next one. On this one here, we have the same thing. We have a trinomial. My coefficient in front of the a squared is 1, and that's just meaning that it's the quadratic term. So I'm going to have, the only way to get a squared is a times a. I'm going to look at this last number, which is negative 22. I need two numbers when multiplied together give you negative 22, but when added together give you negative 9. Well, I know that a negative 11 times a positive 2 is a negative 22. I know that a negative 11 plus 2 is negative 9. So we found our two factors. It's going to be a negative 11 and a positive 2. And we're done. Let's keep on going. Now, sometimes you have prime polynomials, which means you can't do anything. So on this problem, same thing. I'm going to do this. The only way to get m squared is m times m. I'm going to look at the 14. That's my targeted number. I need two numbers when multiplied together that give you 14, but when added together give you negative 8. Well, I know that 2 times 7 is 14, but 2 plus 7 is 9. That is not the middle term. I know that negative 2 times negative 7 is 14, but negative 2 plus a negative 7 is negative 9. That's not my middle term. I also know that negative 1 times a negative 14 is 14, and I know that negative 1 plus a negative 14 is a negative 15. That is not my middle term. So this would be known as prime. It's not factorable. Okay, let's go to the next one. Same thing here. I know it's going to be like this. The only way to get y squared is y times y, but I have the number 2 right here. I know that 1 times 2 is 2. I know that 1 plus 2 is 3. I am never going to get 1 as my middle term, so this is prime. You can stop and just say prime. Cannot factor it. All right, next one. Here's some more guidelines. On this one here, just because I have some extra variables, not a big deal. Here we go. My coefficient is 1 still, so no big deal. I'm going to have two parentheses. R times R is R squared, not a big deal. This last term, though, has an S squared, so you might as well just put the S in there now. S times S is S squared. So I'm just going to look at the 8 right now. I need two numbers when multiplied together give you 8, but when added together give you negative 6. I know that negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8. I know that negative 4 plus a negative 2 is a negative 6. That is my middle term. I found the two factors. So this will be a negative 4x. This will be a negative 2s. I don't know if I said X or S. It's S. All right. If you wanted to check your answers, you could multiply this together, and you will see that you get the same exact answer. All right, let's move to the next one. Now, the next one says, factor such trinomials after factoring out the greatest common factor. So on this problem here, this is our last one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the 3, the 15, and the 18. They all share a 3. I'm going to look at the variables. They all share an x, and you pick the one that is the smallest exponent. So now it's just the distributive property. 3x squared times x squared is 3x to the 4th. 3x squared times a negative 5x is a negative 15x cubed. 3x squared times 6 is 6. It gives you 18x squared. Had a little moment there. Now, you do have to look at what's inside the parentheses. You might be able to factor it a little bit further. You might not, by the way. This might be it. However, I'm going to look at inside here. The only way to get x squared is x times x. Now, I'm going to look at this 6. I need two numbers when multiplied together give you 6, but when added together give you negative 5. What about negative 3 times negative 2? That gives you 6. Negative 3 plus a negative 2 gives you a negative 5. So yeah, it could be factored a little bit more. And that's it. We finished it. We did a little bit of factoring. I am so excited. We're going to do the AC method next. You guys have a great night. Look forward to seeing you in video 5.3. Have a good evening, everyone.